All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is where you're taking some time to watch the calculus or pre-cal review video. Make sure you understand what's going on. As with most of the tests, this review is far too similar to the test for my liking, but that's good news for you. All the answers are posted, so I'm not going to work all of the videos, or I'm not going to work all the problems on the video. I'm going to work the odds. And hopefully that hits enough for you to figure out what's going on. If you need more help, send me an email or Schoology message, and we'll see if we can figure something out. Alright, let's get started. Number one, the graph of an equation is given on the right. Which of the following is true? X-axis symmetry. Well, there's the x-axis. If I fold it on the x-axis, it does not copy onto itself, so that's a no. Y-axis symmetry. There's the y-axis symmetry. If I folded it on the y-axis, it would copy onto itself, so that one's true. Origin, remember origin means 180 degrees. If you rotated it 180 degrees, it would look the same. No, that one would not look the same. It would be upside down. So 3's out. So just x-axis, 1 only. Number 2 is just some algebra. Number 3, the function formed by starting with the square root parent function, translating it 4 units to the right, so that would be x minus 4. 2 units down would be minus 2 at the end. Reflecting it across the x-axis, so up and down you need a negative out front. That would flip it across the x-axis. So y equals, well, it looks like we went with f of x equals, but that's okay. Negative square root x minus 4 minus 2. Letter D. Number 4, inverse is switch x and y and then solve for y. Yeah, I'm only doing the odds, so I may mention things in passing or get started, something like that, and then solve that for y, and you'd have your inverse. Number 5, average rate of change. Average rate of change from 1 to 4. So that's f of 4 minus f of 1 over 4 minus 1. It's just like the slope formula. It is the slope formula. F of 4 is 16 minus 5 is 11. F of 1 minus 5 is negative 4, but it's in the absolute value bars, so 4. So 11 minus 4 over 4 minus 1, 7/3, which is letter B. Number 6, piecewise. Just remember to check this first, and that's the if column. This is the then column. So when x is 0, that would be under this category, so we'll plug it in here and get 8, so it's not equal to 4. Just make sure you use the second column first. Number 7, the function defined by starting with the cubic parent function, reflecting it over the x-axis, translating it 6 units right and 5 units down. So negative x minus 6 cubed minus 5 is answer choice C. Number 8, you guys are pretty good at stuff like number 8. Number 9, the zeros of the function. So that's where we set the function equal to 0. And then we can factor out an x. And then factor what's left, x minus 3 and x plus 2. And so then we set each factor equal to 0. So x equals 0, x equals 3, x equals negative 2. 0, 3, and negative 2. So that'd be answer choice B. Number 10, given a graph, yeah, that should be not too bad. Decreasing meaning going down, increasing meaning going up. Relative maximum is the top of a hill. Relative minimum is the bottom of a valley. And increasing means going up. So figure out which one of those is right. Number 11. Which of the following is true? Oh, a little math with i's. The big thing to remember is that I squared equals -1. So if I FOIL this one, I get 2 minus 6i plus 5i is minus I, and then minus 15i squared. So that would be 2 plus 15 is 17 minus I. So that's not true. Number 2, 3 minus 2i squared. I think it would be wise to write that like that. 3 minus 2i times 3 minus 2i. That way you're less likely to mess up the foiling. First is 9. Outside and inside are both minus 6i. So minus 12i, and then plus 4i squared. So that's 9 minus 4 is 5 minus 12i. So I don't like that one either. Alright, number 3 better be true, or, well, I guess we could just mark E, none are true. So we're down to either 3 or none. Another FOIL problem. 4 times 4 is 16. Outside is minus 12i, inside is plus 12i. So the I stuff goes away. 3i times negative 3i would be negative 9i squared. But the I squared is -1, so this becomes 16 plus 9 is 25. So number 3 is right. Roman numeral 3 is right. 12 is more I with math. I squared is -1. I cubed is -I. I to the 4th is +1. And then make those substitutions and see what you get. 13. Factoring problem. 27x to the 4th minus 64x. I can definitely take an x out. 27x cubed minus 64. So that'd be 3x minus 4. I recognize both of those are cubes. So this is a difference of cubes problem. Then square the first one. Multiply the two together. Square the last one. And we get our signs from SOAP. Same, opposite, always positive. So I need an x out front, and then a 3x minus 4, and then 9x, oops, that was supposed to be 9x squared, plus 12x plus 16. So D was the answer to that one. 14. Even degreed would be no, because the ends are doing opposite things. Even degrees means the ends do the same thing. So that's out. A double root is a bounce root. So it has 2 double roots. So that one's out. Lead coefficient is positive. That would mean it would end going up. And that doesn't happen, so that's not true. So none of the above. Number 15. Remainder with long division. And it has to be long division because of that squared there. So long divide by x squared plus 1. So what times x squared would give me 3x cubed? Well, a 3 and an x would give me 3x cubed plus 3x. Draw the line, change the sign, so we subtract what we just did. 2x squared plus x plus 1. So 2 times x squared 2 times x squared would get me to 2x squared. 2 times 1 would get me to 2. Draw the line, change the signs. So I'm left with x minus 1. And then I'm sort of out of space up here, so there's nothing more to divide. Or what times x squared would get me to x? That doesn't really make sense. So this stuff down here left over is the remainder. X minus 1. 16 and 17 are pretty similar, so I don't mind only doing 17. We need a common denominator in order to add fractions. So this one needs an x minus 4, top and bottom. This one needs an x plus 2, top and bottom. So 5x plus 10, that's the first one, minus, now be careful, let's distribute the minus 3x to everybody. So minus 3x squared plus 12x. That's my numerator. So negative 3x squared plus 17x plus 10. Negative 3x squared plus 17x plus 10. My denominator is just both pieces. In fact, all the denominators are the same. In fact, if you weren't sure how to work this problem, you could look at those denominators, and maybe that would trigger your brain to think, wait a minute, I need a common denominator. 18 looks awful, but a whole bunch of stuff cancels out, so that's not too bad. Number 19 has a hole at the point. Okay, well, holes happen where factors cancel. So x minus 3 cancels. So I know there's a hole at x equals 3. That didn't really help because all of those have x equals 3 in them. But to find the location of the hole, I'll plug 3 in to what's left. 2 times 3, 3 plus 1, over 3 minus 2, 3 minus 1. 6 times 4 is 24. And then in the bottom, 1 times 2 is 2. 24 divided by 2 is 12. So the location of the hole is x equals 3. The y location of the hole is 12, so 3, 12, number C. X-intercepts would be where y is 0. In fact, again, you can use the answers to help figure the stuff out. All of the answers have y equal to 0. So if I set that equal to 0, the only thing that's going to make a fraction 0 is if the top is 0. Let's factor everybody first. X plus 2, x minus 1. And then in the bottom, let's see, 2x, like that, I think. So, yeah, that would work. So I notice that there's a hole at negative 2. So that one can't be right because there's a hole there. It's not an x-intercept. We set this equals 0. The only way a fraction is 0 is if the top is 0. So x equals 1. And we already said y is 0. That's the whole point of an x-intercept. So 1, 0. (21) Which of the following has a hole when x equals 3? So that would mean there's a canceling factor at x minus 3. So C's got it, B's got it, and D's got it. A's out. Vertical asymptotes, that would be factors of the bottom, x minus 2 and x plus 5. X minus 2, x plus 5, x minus 2, x plus 5. Okay, so I'm down to B and C. Oh, this one has a hole at x equals 2. So, can't be C. Gotta be B. Wishes of falling is equal to 8. Hopefully that's not too bad. You just square root, you just do the powers. So 4 plus cube root of 8 is 2. 2 squared is 4. So that one's 8. 4th root of 64. Let's see, cube root of 27 is 3. Squared is 9. Cube root of 125 is 5. 5 squared is 25. That's not equal to 8. Let's see. 4 squared is 16. Cube root of 16. Cube root of 16 doesn't make sense. So this is certainly not going to be 8. Yeah, that's not going to be 8. So much for doing only the odds, right? Let's see, 23. Oh, haven't done that in a while. Let's raise both sides to the 5/4. So x plus 29 equals 16 to the 5/4. 4th root of 16 is 2. 2 to the 5th is 32. Subtract 29 from both sides, x equals 3. 24, you're going to square both sides, which means you might get extra solutions, so I'd be real careful. 11 or 13, my guess is one of them works and one of them doesn't. Let's just try 11. Let's see, 33 minus 3 is 30. That's not even going to work for 11. Square root of 30 is not anything nice. Plug in 13. 13 times 3 is 39. 39 minus 3 is 36. Square root of that is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. So x equals 13. 25 is back to an easy one here. The center would be at negative 5, 8. And the radius would be 4. So part A. 26, very similar. 27 requires some completing the square stuff. So I'm going to group the x's, group the y's, and factor out the stuff that's in front of the y's and the x's. And then move that 11 out of the way. So rearrange things. Now it's time to complete the square. Half of b is 1. 1 squared is 1. But I didn't really add 1. I added 25 to both sides because of that 25 out front. Same type thing here. Half of negative 8 is negative 4. I square it, I get 16. But that means I really added 64 to both sides. So x plus 1 squared plus 4 times y minus 4 squared equals whatever all that adds up to. Oh, that makes it nice. It adds up to 100. Let's see if we can start eliminating things. X plus 1 and y minus 4. X plus 1 and y minus 4. And then be careful, if I divide by 100, I end up with 4 under the x stuff, 25 under the y stuff. So answer choice B. 28 should be easy. 29 should be even easier. 8 of them and 3 of them make 11 of them. So x to the 11th. 30, whoops, I wasn't going to do 30, but it's already done. 31 looks tricky with all those exponents going on there. Let's see, I'm going to square everybody. So x to the 6th. Y to the 0 is 1. 1 squared is 1. I can just ignore that. Z to the negative 8 over x to the negative 2. Y to the 8 and z to the negative 12. Alright, so I combine those, I get an x to the 8th in the top because the negative 2 moves up. The y to the 8th is going to be stuck in the bottom. And if I move my z's around, carefully, move them around, I end up with z to the 4th in the top. So x to the 8th, uh-oh, I don't see it there. That messed something up. Oh, that shouldn't have been a negative 2 down there. That should be a positive 2. And then 6 minus 2 is 4. X to the 4, z to the 4th over y to the 8th. There it is. First one. $33. Ugh, looks awful. It's really not that bad. Oh, let's see, I need to flip those. So 243 to the 4/5 in the top, 32 to the 4/5 in the bottom. Fifth through to 243, it's got to be 3, because there's nothing else we would ask you to do that with. 3 to the 4th. Fifth through to 32 is 2, 2 to the 4th. So that's 81 over 16. Answer choice D. 34, remember you combine, or you can combine by multiplying, so that's the same as natural log 45. You can combine subtractions with division, so natural log of 5. 36, remember you could put the negative 2 out front, make life a little easier, so that'd be C. Natural log of 1 is 0. So that's 0. We can move that power out front. X natural log e. The natural log of e is 1. So we just get x. Little easy problems, but super important when you get to calculus that you can handle algebra or exponents, natural logs, stuff like that. 39, which is equivalent to natural log of all that. Let's see if we can just look at our answers here. So we should have a 6 that's positive and a 2 natural log x plus 2 that's positive. So A and B, or A has it. C doesn't have any natural logs, so I don't know what's going on there. D doesn't have any natural logs either, so he's out. So first part is good. And then in the denominator, so minus 6 ln x minus, because this is also in the bottom, that's a root of 5, so 1/5. The difference is the minus and plus. But they're both in the bottom, so they're both going to be minus. So the answer choice is A. E to the ln x. Well, e and ln kind of cancel each other out, so that's right back to x. Negative means add or subtract. 43. Which of the following is true? Geometrics, that means we multiply by something each time. Looks like we're multiplying by 2/3. So that's true. This one looks like we multiply by -3. So that one's true. This one, it looks like we're multiplying by square root of 3 there, but times 3 there, and square root of 3 there. So that doesn't have an R. It doesn't have a good, consistent R. So 1 and 2 only. Ninth term would just be plug in 9 for n. 45. Sum of an infinite geometric series is a over 1 minus r. That's backwards. That's backwards. Right there. Sum of the series. Let's see, it's infinite, so it would definitely need to be a over 1 minus r. First term would happen when we plug 3 in. So that's 4 times 1/2 squared. 1/2 squared is 1/4 times 4 is 1. And the common ratio is 1/2. So that's going to be 2. 47 is similar. It looks like our common ratio is 2 in the numerator, or maybe -2 because it's changing signs, over 3. And the sum of the infinite series, so S equals A1 over 1 minus R. A1 is 1/2. 1 minus R is 1 minus -2/3. So 1/2 over 5/3. Keep it, change it, flip it, and we get 3/10. Letter choice B. 48. Which one diverges? Well, it diverges if R is greater than 1. So, or absolute value of R is greater than 1. So, like letter A, this is going to be getting bigger and bigger. So that diverges. 0.2 is less than 1. 0.8 is less than 1. 0.75 less than 1. We just did things like 49 and 50. So let's do 49, keeping with the odds, and that'll be it. Alright, secant is the opposite, not the opposite, but the flip of cosine. So that should be h over a. H is 17. Adjacent is 15, because it's an 8, 15, 17 triangle. So h over a is 17 over 15. That is true. Cotangent is x over y, or adjacent over opposite. So that would be 15 over 8. For cotangent, that's not true. And then lastly, cosecant is the flip of sine. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so hypotenuse over opposite would be 17 over 8. That one's not true either, so just one. This is a lot of work for just one answer there. Alright, the final is very similar to this. 50 multiple choice questions. You'll have the full hour and a half, or hour and 45 minutes, whatever it is, to work on it. Strongly encourage you to take it. Can't hurt you. You could replace a low grade with a good grade on the final. So good luck. I think you've got plenty of information to use to study, and you guys know I'm out till next year, or till January. So best of luck, happy holidays, and I will see you next year.